for anyone who's going through something right now, the perfect time to heal that stuff is when it's coming to the surface. Emotionally, mentally, physically, spiritually, like it's ripening and it's coming up. So just recently, I was working with someone and they were having issues. It was a separation anxiety issue, her daughter going to school. And, she got there and she's like, nope, I don't want to do it. I don't want to go in. She was super emotional, and, which is not just hard on the child, but it's hard on the mom as well. So she happened to tell me right at the time of when that was happening. So I asked, can we do a healing meditation around this? And I pulled up some keywords of things that were coming up between the two of them that needed to be healed. Acknowledge, blessed, released in the work that I do. And one was codependency, reaction. There was several, and I can't think of them off the top of my head. But so we went into the meditation, and the mom immediately burst into tears because it was all the emotions that were coming up. And she was seeing some of the stuff like just kind of being pulled off of her. And when we got done, she felt more calm and relaxed and was like, yeah, I think I'm good. Like, this is great. So the next day, when her daughter went to school, there was no issues. This is what an entanglement is. Sometimes with people, we have these entanglements and they create emotional charges. And we feel like this is normal, but it's not. It's our body's way of wanting us to look at the charges, because your thoughts are electric and your emotions are magnetic, and the charges that are coming up to be healed and released, to be acknowledged that they're there. So when you know how to heal this stuff, life becomes much more easy. You become more balanced in your beingness. You also stop creating so many waves out into the universe with your energy, and some that are going in directions that are not beneficial. Okay? So, and this can help with many different factors. Now, God, I'm saying this because recently I was talking to someone, and there's a saying I say, we acknowledge you, and you insert the emotion, you may go, we bless you. And I said, you are one with God, you were never separate. And I said, you're acknowledging the emotion because that's what's serving you and you don't need it. And you're telling it can go. And then you bless it, you change it from a negative to a positive. And she says, well, I have an issue with it. She couldn't say it. She says, I don't believe in God. And I said, I'm not talking about religious dogma. I'm talking about the most beautiful, loving, compassionate field that you can ever even imagine. It's hard for me to put into words, but I've experienced it, so I know that it's there, it exists, it's real, and I know that that's where I'm from. And so I said, it's like, use whatever word works for you, whether it's spirit, God, divine, nature, creator, creation, whatever it is that you feel comfortable with, go ahead and use that. All that is and ever was, right? And know that the most beautiful field exists that is so loving and so unconditional. Because I just kind of came out this golden tunnel once after saying, I want to know God, and I went into my meditation and it was like lower back down in these arms of just love, infinite love. And so when I talk about God, that's what I'm talking about, right? That love that is so divine and pure and beautiful. And that's what comes into these sessions. That. Now, there is more, because everything's being watched, it's being played out here. And this is why I tell people, you don't have to wait till you die to see your life review. You can clean that up now. You can do that now, right? You can go back and look at all the things that you didn't do right and start healing that in the now. And becoming your best self. We've all made mistakes on our journey. We've all done things that we're not proud of. This is why I say start looking at it and look at your behavior, and it's not too late to make these changes, and you don't have to wait until the next life. Whether you believe in it or not, there are next lives, different trajectories. You take you with you wherever you go. So these unhealed patterns and wounds, they're just going to pick back up where you last left off. So if you start getting still and you start healing that stuff now, things change. And they can change in a good way, a really good way. So I know, in these sessions, a lot of times I don't see what comes up for people because it's not meant for me to see those things. It's just meant for you to heal and release and to know, like, oh, I can see this. I guess I was still mad at my wife over XYZ. I guess this was here. I was still mad at my dad. I was still, like whatever it is. These are a lot of the things that are in the way of us remembering our own divinity and our own truth and doing our own dance with the divine. And this is why it's not easy, is because when these charges, these negative charges come up, it's emotional. For me, sometimes when my own stuff comes up, I'm witnessing what it is that's coming up. I'm seeing it through my eyes. Here's the string, and attached to this string is all these different emotions and things and experiences I had that were attached to this one emotion that I had been carrying for a long time. And then you heal it. And after you cry it out and you allow your energy to come back, you feel better. You come more in alignment with the truth of who you are. And you remember again what is important. And it's you, your humanness, your humanity, your divinity, your essence, your soul essence. So if you're lost, know you're not alone. They're always looking out for you. Okay, I'm going to just share this one experience because they're bringing it to me to share. It doesn't matter how far down the tunnel that you've gone, you can always turn things back around. And how unconditional this is. There was a time when I had my office, I had a client come and she had a gift card to come and see me. And when the name Cassidy came up, and she asked me, I asked her, I said, what is this name to you? She says, I don't know, it doesn't mean anything. So I pulled up what the name was, what it meant, and I sent it to her in an email. And she gave me like $20 extra as a tip. She goes, they don't pay you enough for this. And so she gave it to me and she left. So the next day I was leaving my office and I'm walking to my car and I see this woman come across the street and she just kind of has this sports bra on and I could tell tons of trauma. And she says, hey, I need some money for our hotel. Can you help me? And I could just feel her heart. I actually just got choked up just being in her energy. And I said, I said, you got a lot of trauma. And I said, can we do a session together? And she just kind of looked at me like, what? I said, my office is right there. We'll just go in, do a session. She's like, okay. So we go in and I could tell she had addictions, and the money probably wasn't for a hotel. And I just kind of sat down with her and I said, what's your name? And she said, Cassidy. And I said, you know what? God hasn't forgotten about you. And she kind of looked at me, what? I said, yesterday I was doing a session with somebody and I heard your name. And I asked my client what it meant to her and she didn't know. And I said, can I show you? I even sent her an email with the definition of what your name meant. And so I pulled it up and she read it and now she's looking at me like, where did I walk into? Like, what's really going on? And I said, we're just going to do this session. And we went in and I knew she felt the love that was being generated from that session. And she got up and she said, I've never experienced anything like that. Oh my God, thank you. She said, can I give you a hug? And I was like, absolutely. So I gave her the $20. I said, here. And then I had another $20 in there, and I said, here, you can have this too. And she's like, oh my, like, so now she got a healing, and she got the money, and there was no ties to the money. It wasn't, now you have to use this for the hotel. Now you have to, it was like, you know what? You've been through so much, and you've been so traumatized in your life. If you need to still go get your fix, then go get it, because this is unconditional. There wasn't any strings attached. It was just God told me that you were coming, and I knew it was you when I saw you. So even when you think that nobody's watching, somebody is. Whether you're doing right or wrong, God is always around, observing. And I've said this before, we are doing this to ourselves. We're creating this, and we can do better. Find me at bsmission.org.